Hi everybody, welcome back to another instalment of Casita's Virtual Kitchen. I'm here today with another cook-off, another unboxing for Mother's Day. So if you obviously haven't ordered this already, I'm going to show you this evening what you're going to get and hopefully inspire you guys to place an order. So again, we got our box delivered. I'm just going to take the ribbon off. Open it up. And inside, beautifully prepared are all your ingredients. So as you can see guys, everything is in the box for a beautiful tapas feast. So let's take a few minutes, let's get everything out of the box, let's have a little look through the instructions, read those, watch the video. I do recommend to get all your pots, pans, plates, crockery ready as well. So what we're going to do is just take everything out now. Perfect chance to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications and join me back with everything ready. Welcome back guys, so I've got everything out. As you can see there's quite a lot of little elements here, so don't be scared, it is all very easy. I'm going to talk you through step by step. So there's a couple of things we need to do to start with. So probably before we're going to start cooking, like I said, we've got everything out, we've got everything ready. We just need to let the steak come up to room temperature. So this steak, I'm just going to go through it quickly now, is already sous vide cooked, so it's already cooked to kind of a medium rare temperature. That needs to be out of the fridge around half an hour before we start cooking. The sea bass I've taken out. This comes again backpacked. We're just going to onto a bit of kitchen paper just to dry out, and we're just going to leave that there until we're ready. So first things first, I've got a little pan of some water on here. So this is, we're just going to lightly warm this water up. Now this is going to be for our salt cod. So the salt cod mix comes in a packet, and all we're going to do is we're just going to give that 1 or 2 minutes just in the warm water, just to take the chill off of it, and then that's going to go into a dish and into the oven. So all we're going to do is we're going to bob that into there, and we're just going to give that 1 or 2 minutes. So you don't want the water necessarily boiling, you just want it nice and warm, just to take the chill off of it. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we've got our potatoes. So these are parboiled, these potatoes. So all we're going to do with these is we're going to roast them in the oven. Okay. So we just need a oven-proof dish, a little bit of olive oil, or veg oil, or butter, or duck fat, or whatever you have at home. So we'll put a little bit of oil into there. We're going to go in with our potatoes. We're going to obviously season them up, so salt, pepper, and we've got a little pot down here with some aromats in, so that's our garlic, our thyme, our rosemary. So that's already pre-prepared in there. So that's just going to give some lovely flavour to the potatoes. Obviously we've added a bit of seasoning. Now I'm going to add a little bit of butter. You don't have to if you want to keep it a little bit healthier, but just a little bit of butter. Okay, you're going to roll that round, so get it all covered in oil. Use your hands if you want. Get all those herbs mixed up. Okay, so that's our first job. They're going to go into the oven now. They're probably going to take kind of the duration of getting everything else together, just for them to roast up nicely. So, nice hot oven. And you can forget about those, they're done. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this cod sorted. So, cod's had 1 or 2 minutes in the hot water now. So we're just going to take that bag out, turn that pan off. We're going to get our dish, so however you want to serve this. Obviously it's going to go into the oven or under a hot grill, so it needs to be an oven proof dish, one that can go in the oven. So we're just going to snip off the corner. And we're going to squeeze this into the bowl. I'm just going to bash that down. Then in front we're going to have some crumb. So this is a crumb mixture of breadcrumbs, some crispy onions, some chives and some fresh thyme. Okay, so we're just going to open that, and you can be as generous with the crumb as you want. Okay, there's a little bit of manchego cheese in here as well, just to crisp up. Okay, so all we need to do with that now is we're going to add that to the oven as well. So we've already got our potatoes in there, we're going to put our cod in there, we're going to get a little crust, a nice little colour on top of that crumb there. Excellent, so we're going to move on to the butternut squash now. So a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Just going to let that warm up. So I'm also going to get ready the manchego croquettes. So I've already sort of fried these so they've got a nice colour. So all we're going to do with these is a tray and they're going to go into the oven. They're probably going to take sort of 4 or 5 minutes just to get through to temperature in the middle, and then they should sort of crisp back up. So he's going to bob them onto a tray, and then they're going to go into the oven as well. So our pan is going to be hot now for butternut squash. So we're just going to bob the squash in. If you incidentally want to watch the full video on how to prepare this butternut squash, we do have this audio on YouTube, so you can watch it from start to finish. I'm going to go with a little bit of salt onto the butternut squash. Okay, so we need another non-stick pan. We want to get some heat into that. Now these peppers, they can be served kind of ambient, kind of room temperature. They're a little bit cold from the fridge. You can also, or almost just warm them up a little bit in a pan or a flash in a microwave, whatever you have. So our butternut squash now, lost a bit, it's got a lovely colour. So I'm going to go in with the garlic and chilli and a little bit of that oil. So this is going to bring a nice heat to the dish. We're going to make it a little bit sweet with the honey finish. So this is going to give a nice kind of heat to it. Just while our pan is heating up for our sea bass, I'm just going to season the bass. Okay, so it's nice and dry. We've had it on the kitchen paper. We've taken that moisture out, so it should have a nice roasted skin. So I'm just going to season the skin, quite generous. As you can see, I'm using a kind of Maldon sea salt, so it's a little bit chunkier. If you've got fine table salt, that's fine as well, but I prefer the chunkier sea salt. Wonderful, so we're starting to get a bit of a roast on this garlic now. So at this point it's optional. I'm going to add a little bit of butter, just to give it a little bit more richness. So that's going in as well. So unfortunately I've got no naked flame here. I'm not going to be able to flambe it and it's not going to be spectacular. If you've got gas at home, add your bourbon, tip your pan, get a bit of flambe going on. You almost feel like a proper chef, just mind the eyebrows. So this pan is starting to get hot now, a little bit of olive oil in the pan. So our fish is nicely seasoned. We're going to go into the hot pan. Okay, and we're just going to leave that. I'm going to season it on the other side. So back to our butternut squash. We're going to add the bourbon. Okay, so we've been quite generous with the bourbon, add as much as you want. I'm obviously going to go in with all of it. So in with the bourbon. And like I say, unfortunately there won't be any flambe, there's no naked flame. But what you want to do is you want to cook that bourbon off now. So the bourbon is now fully kind of burnt off, so all that, you've got that lovely flavour from bourbon, but the punch of the alcohol's gone. So we're going to finish this with a little bit of honey. So it's starting to smell absolutely delicious in here. We've got the bourbon smell, we've got the roasted rosemary and the garlic and the potatoes in the oven. So it's starting to smell absolutely delicious. So we're going to go in with the honey. Again, be as generous as you want. Okay. So all we're going to do is go in with that. Once our honey has started to glaze our butternut squash, I've got some, where are they? Some chives here. So just to add a little bit of colour, a little bit of green to set the scene into the butternut squash. Okay, and that's the butternut squash done. So I'm just going to turn the butternut squash off now. So the fish is 90% cooked now, so at that point that's when we just turn it over. So if you can see, it's just the last little bit on the top. We use our fish slice just to turn it over. Okay, so look at the skin, it's beautifully roasted, nice and crispy. Literally about 10 seconds on that side and we're going to take it out. Okay, we're going to let it just rest for a little bit on this kitchen paper here. Okay, so our fish is beautiful. Just going to turn the pan off now. We don't really need to give the peppers an aggressive heat. There'll be enough heat in the pan just to gently warm them through. Okay, so if there's any excess oil in the pan now, I'll just tip a little bit of it out. You just want a tiny little bit left in just to warm the peppers through. So as previous for Valentine's Day, we want to make this a special meal. We want to make it look like restaurant food. So get out your best plates, your best china. Doesn't matter if it's some plates, some bowls, mix it up. Okay. So a beautifully glazed butternut squash. We go onto the plate. Okay. Mix this up. A little bit of that beautiful sauce over the top. And then I'm going to got my goat's cheese here. So this is just a nice sort of soft goat's cheese. So the heat of the butternut squash is going to melt, start to warm that goat's cheese through and melt it slightly. So you want to be nice and generous with the goat's cheese. And then I've got some pomegranate seeds. So again, we're going to go on with the pomegranate seeds. I'm going to add lovely little bite, lovely little texture to the butternut squash. And then there should also be some pea shoots, so that's going to give it a nice little bit of colour. Okay, so I'm just going to, on top. So there's plenty of pea shoots if you want to garnish up some of the other dishes, just to make them look a little bit more delicious. Okay, so we're going to put them to one side. Now if you've got any, that's absolutely beautiful as it is, I would just a little bit of salt over the top. Okay. If you've got a little bit of balsamic vinegar, a little bit of balsamic glaze, a little drizzle of that over the top. So I've got here just a little bit of balsamic vinegar. So just a tiny little bit, okay, just over the top there. So this pan here now, add the peppers in just to warm them through a little bit. So I'm just going to move them around in there, just to get the heat from the pan. And then into this, I am going to add the basil. So we're going to go a nice bowl for the sea bass. Do keep an eye on what you've put in the oven. So I'm just going to have a quick look now. I've got my potatoes starting to roast. The cod is looking good and the croquettes are probably starting to get to temperature. Okay. Once our peppers are done. So scoop them out into the bowl. So these are really nice, really sort of colourful, very aromatic. Comfy peppers, a little bit of onion in there, some fresh basil, lots of garlic. Okay, then we're going to go on with our beautifully roasted sea bass fillets. And then down here I've got a little basil oil. So I'm just going to give that a little mix up. See, it's a lovely beautiful green colour. I'm going to go on with that. Obviously, it's not just for show, it does add a beautiful fresh basil taste. And then again, like I say, we've got plenty of pea shoots left, so if you want to, we use a lot of pea shoots at Casita, so, if you want to feel like you're there in spirit, a few little pea shoots just to finish, okay? So then that's the sea bass with the confit peppers and the basil oil. We're going to move on to the steak now. So it's been out, like I say, we got it out a little bit earlier, so it's come up to room temperature. Just going to roast that off, so we need another pan on. So quite an important part because there's quite a few elements going on and quite a lot of ingredients. So cleaning as you go is quite important. So between each dish, let's just wipe down. Well, the steak is already pre-cooked to medium rare. So by the time we roast this off, it's going to be sort of medium rare to medium. If you wanted it well done, that's absolutely fine. Just give it either longer in the pan or longer in the oven. But this way, it should be nice and pink when you slice it. To go with this, we've got a beautiful, again, this is already cooked, so all we're doing with this is getting the heat back into it. This is a roasted and sous vide cooked onion, so that will intensify the flavour, so it should be nice and strong onion flavour. Sal Marreco, which is like a sort of sauce made with peppers, tomatoes, sherry vinegar. Our croquettes are now heated through, so we're going to plate them very simply. We've got our onion puree. So this is a caramelised onion puree, so that's why the colour's nice and sort of deep kind of caramelised brown colour. So we just cook the onions down really, really slowly, and that intensifies the flavour. So we're just going to go on with our puree. crispy onions here, so we're going to garnish the puree up with the crispy onions. Don't use all the crispy onions because we need a few of those for the steak. Okay. So we're going to go on with our croquettes. So however you want to plate these up really. Nice and simple, stack them up. A little bit of salt over the top of the croquettes. And obviously green beans go. We're going to go on with our pea shoots. Okay, and there are our manchego croquetas with onion puree. So that's dish number 3. So our pan now should be nice and hot for our steak. Okay, so a little bit of oil in the pan. Let's just take our steak out. We've got another little bit of kitchen paper here, so that's going to go onto there. We're also going to take our onion out of the bag as well. Okay. And that can sit next to it. Excellent, so we're halfway there. We're just going to season our steak up now. So salt, pepper. Now a lot of this sort of table salt, a lot of this moulding salt will fall off in the pan, so we want to make sure there's plenty on there. Okay, pan's nice and hot, it's almost smoking. So we're going to go in with our steak. We're going to hear a little sizzle. We're also going to go in with our onion. Okay, so we've roasted one side of the steak there, lovely and roasted, and then the onion is also a nice colour as well. Okay. This will need probably a couple of minutes in the oven just to warm through to the middle. So we're going to get a nice colour on it. We're going to make sure the fat is nicely roasted. So just tip your pan a little bit. Hold the steak up. Yeah, we've got our plate now for our salt cod. So a nice little napkin on there. Got some delicious croutons here. So basically this is salt cod brandard. So it's almost like a salt cod pate. We poach the cod down with some beautiful thyme, garlic, lots of olive oil, so you get a really nice flavour. Combine that with mash to make a beautiful pate. So we're just going to take this steak out now. So there's nice colour all round. Okay, nicely roasted onion. I'm just going to give that 1 to 2 minutes in the oven. So the salt cod, and now we're just going to put on the confit yolk. Okay, so this is just basically an egg yolk that's cooked to sort of lower temperatures, which is cooked really slowly in confit. So you're going to sit that on top. That's going to bring a nice richness to the dish. We're going to season the egg yolk, so very important. Salt, pepper, put a couple of little pea shoots just next to it. Onto the plate. So obviously the dish is very hot, so just use a cloth. So onto the plate there with the salt cod, and the croutons can just go on. So that's the brandard, the salt cod done. And then the potatoes, you can take them out. So you can see now they've got a lovely colour on them. They've roasted up nicely. Got taken on all that flavour from the garlic, from the thyme, from the rosemary. Okay. So we're just going to take the potatoes out, okay? So we're just going to let them just cool down for a little second. So the steak's had its time in the oven. I'm just going to take it out now and let it rest for a little minute. So for the potatoes, I've got my nice bowl. All I'm going to do is a bit like you're doing a jacket potato. I'm just going to give them a little crisscross. Very hot, obviously. Okay, so into the dish and just give them a little squeeze, okay? Little squeeze. And then we've got in here, which is a personal favourite of mine, is the chorizo jam. Okay, so It's absolutely delicious. It is what it says on the tin. It's basically chorizo cooked down with onions, some spices, sugar, shallots to make this beautiful jam. Okay, and then just be as generous as you want on each potato. Okay, there's plenty in there. So you want a nice little bit on each potato. And then down the front, some sour cream and chive. So this is going to make it absolutely delicious. So again, be as generous as you want. Nice little bit on the top of each potato. Personally, I like a little bit of cracked black pepper, so I'm going to go a little bit of pepper over each potato. And a tiny bit of salt. Okay, so we'll season it up. And then obviously we've got pea shoots. A little pea shoot on the potatoes. And they're going to be absolutely delicious. So that's your roasted potatoes with chorizo jam and sour cream and chive. And then the last dish is going to be the steak. Okay, so we're going to take the steak out onto our board. So to plate this salmorejo. Okay, so again, we're just going to give that a little mix up in the dish. I'm going to go onto the plate. Okay, be quite generous with this. We've got our beautifully roasted onion next to it. So we saved some of the crispy onions, so now they're going to come into play here, a little bit over the top, a little bit of the puree. Okay, slice of steak. Okay, you can see the steak itself is beautifully pink. It's a really nice cut, this rump cap. It's got great flavour. It's nice and tender, so I'm just going to slice all our steak up. Nice sharp knife. Let it do the work. You can see how beautifully pink it is. Okay, like I said, if you wanted it a little bit more well done, just give it a little bit longer in the oven. Just tidy that all up a little bit. And then very, very important, when you've sliced meat, it needs seasoning, okay? Get a bit of seasoning into that sliced meat, so a little bit over the top, a bit of salt. Okay, then get your knife and slide it underneath, onto the plate and into position. And then let's finish the last of these few pea shoots, just across here. There we have it, that's your last tapa. That's the roasted rump cap with salmorejo and roasted onion. Okay, so I'm just going to move that here. And then the last thing, stay with me, is the desserts. Okay, so the chocolate brownie, if you want to warm it up, feel free. Bob it in the oven, give it a 10-second blast in the microwave just to take the chill off of it. That's entirely up to you. I personally would warm it up slightly. So that's our chocolate brownie. I'm just going to play that in a second. And then our second dessert is the lemon tart. So obviously, of course, you want one of each, don't you? So I'm going to show you both. Okay, so our chocolate brownie, I'm going to go a little plate on this one. So we've warmed it up, or you've warmed it up. So the vanilla cream, okay, just give that a little shake in the pot. Again, this can be had, you can warm this up, you can have it sort of room temperature, that's entirely up to you. And let's just pour that over the top of the brownie, a little bit of fresh mint just to finish. And then the lemon tart, I'll take that out of the tub as well, onto the plate. So lemon tart is going with a raspberry puree. So just give that a little mix up there. Little segments of grapefruit and orange. So they're going to just nicely sit on top of the lemon tart here. And then again, to finish this, a little bit of fresh mint. Let's just slide over there a little bit more. And that's it, that's your desserts done, your chocolate brownie, your lemon tart. enjoy guys, enjoy Mother's Day. I hope you've enjoyed this video again. If you have, please subscribe to the Casita YouTube channel. There's plenty of these dishes cooked from scratch, which could be very interesting for everybody. So again, thank you for your time, thank you for ordering. Take care, and we hope to welcome you all back very soon. Goodbye, thank you.